Hello, TFE, and welcome to what is episode 1 of this week in the Total Franchise Experience. TFE, where fantasy's at its finest. Trademark. I'm here with Tony of the Cleveland American League team, and we are going to take a look at. I know, week 1 is not absolutely wrapped yet. We've got the night game, we've got the Cubs game still to finish, but we're going to give a quick breakdown, some thoughts and some notes and some tidbits on the first scoring week and a half, really, of the TFE. And that said, Tony, how did week 1 treat the Cleveland team? How did your week 1 go?
I believe I'm going to go 7-1, barring a miracle.
Hey, so I'm going to be your only loss?
Yes, last I checked.
Oh man, that makes me feel good.
And I faced 1, 2, 3, including you, four teams that went 400 plus, and the Mets went 390.
It seems like on this week and a half, 400 plus is pretty good. We had a few teams hit 500, but 400 plus is pretty competitive, I would say, and obviously if you hit 500, you're looking pretty solid. 7-1, you can't complain about 7-1.
And I'm 486.
Yeah, so you're very near 500 yourself.
Yeah, and I've got
one of the top scoring teams.
We got old Chaz McCormick going tonight, and
right, yeah. So yeah, as we discussed a little bit ago, our matchup could potentially come down to if Chaz McCormick goes all Sean Green and hits 4 home runs or something. Maybe you can step ahead of me, but I'm kind of hoping that's not the case.
I am fine if it doesn't. 7-1 is probably close to best case scenario. Yeah, go ahead, put that up there. You're good.
Well, I wanted to get I was going to put the standings up real quick, and we'll take a look at kind of some weekend numbers. Again, there's still a game to be played, but this is how we're looking right now. So the Astros are your number 1 scoring team, and I don't know if you would have asked, if we would have took a poll of predictions, I'm not sure that the Astros would have been at the top of anybody's list. This is no offense to the Astros, of course, but just not who I would have picked to probably be the leading scorer. And they really did it on the back of hitting and pitching. Their pitching was quite dominant. I think they had number 1 pitching in the league for the week and a half. But yeah, Houston at 500. What is that? 62 points. Your top scoring team. We had 3 teams so far hit 500. The evening game may take us. May get the Braves there. I haven't looked and seen.
Hey, may get the. Hey, I'll even settle with getting 500 flat and not beating you.
Yeah, Chaz McCormick, a little 13 and 13.17 points. It could be done.
Yeah, I'm not.
But still, nothing to sneeze at. I mean, dude, fifth highest scoring team. I don't know. I liked your team. You gave yourself straight 8s across the board. I liked it. I don't know if I would have pegged it as top 5, but this is a kind of a funky week and a half, 11 scoring days, whatever it is. These are, of course, not indicative of the kind of weekly numbers that we're going to see going forward. But, you can still take a look and see who did it with hitting, who did it with pitching. Your top hitting team of the week, I think, was the Braves. Yeah, 321.5. Yeah, what's up, Tony?
No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying. Sorry.
Oh, I'm just yakking, man. 321.5.
I was just going to say we both beat Brendan.
Yes, we did. Look, I gotta say, I'm also, I think, going to go 7-1. I ran into the Houston team, so I'm going to lose to them. But more important to me than going 7-1 is that I get the trifecta of beating Sam, Tony, and Brendan.
Did you face Sam too?
Week. I did, yeah, I did.
Holy shnikes.
Yeah. So I got all 3 of you guys in week 1, and I'm not going to get to gloat about this very often, beating the 3 of you in 1 week. It didn't ever happen in ABL. I don't beat anybody in ABL. Probably not going to have as good of a week as I had here again. So I really have to bask in this beating my 3 buddies. in week one. Yeah,
You know,
feeling good.
Tip my cap.
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
Like I didn't realize that. Like
On the strength of my pitching too.
Go ahead.
It was all pitching, man. My bats. Julio Rodriguez started super slow. Tristan Casas starting super slow. Really, all on the shoulders of my pitching, which I think, yeah, I have the most pitching points in the league. Now maybe Houston can still do something in the night game, but 285.667. I ended up with the number one pitching. A lot of Garrett Crochet in there. We know how he would scuffle a little bit today, but was like 50, 55, 56 combined points his first two starts. Probably not going to get much better than that, but I'll take a great week one pitching performance. Yeah, like I said, Braves top hitting team. We had plenty of teams just kind of do it both. Astros did it with both 285 and 277. The Brewers 300 hitting points, 250 pitching points. Tony's Indians 274, 212. Maybe a little behind in the pitching. Still, I think is going to be pretty good. Where's 212 like in the grand scheme of things? Like top 10.
Not bad, yeah.
Right here, yeah. So and way down at the bottom, so we can see what the very poor end of the pitching was in the 80s. A couple of teams fewer than 100 pitching points. The Cubs, the Jays, and we'll go look into the stats a little bit after this and dive into exactly where these points came from. But yeah, your teams here really didn't get their 7 starts. Very obviously didn't get your 7 starts if you're this low on the pitching ladder. But go ahead.
No, that's what I was saying. It's like something to look at. Is like how many of those get the 7 starts or 11 starts or however you want to say.
I don't know how in depth they get if they show us starts. Like we can go all the way down here and see.
I'm sure there's a way we just
like innings. I know they give us innings. So yeah, I led the league with 93 and a third innings, and then these guys at the very bottom, the Jays only got 31 and a third total pitching innings, 45 from the Mariners and Cubs. Yeah, a good handful of teams with fewer than 50 innings pitched, which
is there scroll back down. Can you scroll back down to that real quick?
Yeah.
Is there like a demarcation point of this is 76?
What do you
like? I'm looking at innings pitched. Like, is there this is a clear cut?
So the middle would be 15 here would be the Reds at 70 and 2/3. So that's right in the middle. And then it shows, from that they got 141.
But then look at 72. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Whoops. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that.
It's all good.
But yeah, that was right in the middle, 70 and 2/3.
I was just trying to see
an 11-day matchup.
Again, I was trying to see that if you scroll up a little bit more. Sorry, go down. The 70 and 2/3 versus what? You go down a few spots, you got 59. 11 innings makes a big difference from 20th to 16th.
Yeah.
That's a start. That's 2 starts.
A lot can happen in those innings.
That's
you can
2 starts.
Look, Baltimore. So let's just say Baltimore 71 and 2/3 innings, right?
Yep.
Barely above middle of the pack, but in those 71 and 2/3, they scraped out 8 wins.
Yeah.
I had 93 and a third innings and only managed 4 wins. So there's twice as many points from wins there. 20 extra points. But the Orioles
way down even further. I was further than that. I got no wins. But
where are you at?
Third.
Yeah, there you are.
19th. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll take a little bit another look at this stuff after we get to the rundown. Fantasy points per game, very very important thing. You can score a lot of points, but not score a lot of points per game, but not get the games. If we have teams, see a good example of that maybe. I know the Cardinals at 3.94 points, but only 73 games played. So the Cardinals in the upper half of the league in point per game at 3.94, but just way down the bottom of games played. Actually, at the very bottom of games played with only 73. So yeah, if you could average that 3.94 and get up here into the low hundreds of games played, then you're talking about maybe winning some matchups. But when you have a games played total that's that low, it's going to be really hard to dig up. Conversely, the Jays only 76 games played, only averaged 2.3 points per game. Not going to get it done.
I have no idea how to forgive me for this, and I hope he doesn't listen. But how do you say that guy's name?
I think his name's John.
No, it's Jarix or J A.
Oh yeah. I don't know how you
and maybe it's John
probably because he's
maybe
Canadian.
Maybe it's French John. Like
maybe it's Jaire. I don't know.
I mean, you're gonna have to.
I just call him John.
Like, hopefully you've listened to us and like you're listening to this, but he's definitely looking towards next year.
Sure. I think he's made that clear. I mean, that's yes. There's no surprise,
secrets.
I'm still going to point out his foibles,
yes.
And that he only averaged 2.3 points per game in a paltry 76 games. So let's get to the week one news and tidbits. We've got some injuries and some crap that just kind of going through. We wrote down and looked at. So we'll hit the injury list, and it was a bad one. This has so far been the matchup period of pretty bad injuries. There's probably more than I have written down here. So I've got the injury and who it affects in the TFE. We'll start with the Marlins. And man, took
is this Chris, right?
Yeah, Chris of the Marlins. Noelvi, obviously a suspension, not an injury, but still a loss is a loss. He lost Danny Jansen. He lost Tommy Edman. He lost Gavin Williams. He lost Sonny Gray. So if we take a look back at the Marlins and how they did in week one, where is he at? 453.
He's got to be
453 he put up total, which is not a bad total at all.
No,
which is 11th overall, and he's missing all those guys.
Yeah.
So this, I feel like straight away, the Marlins are a team to maybe look out for in the near future. Probably he's getting Sonny Gray back very soon. Danny Jansen should be back pretty soon.
Tommy Edman.
Yeah, Tommy. I even as a Cardinal fan, I'm not sure when exactly to expect him back. But he's not out for the year or anything. He's not out for months, so he's going to get these guys back, and I think going to turn into. I mean, he already was a competitive team. He was a top half scoring team. So
the other thing too is if he pulled that spreadsheet or Google sheet up, he has Noel Marte, right?
80 games though. He's not getting him back for a while.
But it's not injury. It's not
yeah.
injury. This is just dude suspended because he
just broke the rules.
Whatever you want to say he did. Like
he's juicing.
Like I didn't want to go that, but yeah, like he's juicing. Like it's not like he's got to work his way back from an ACL. He's got to work his way back from
no surgery. I mean, and you can be assured he's probably still working out and swinging and stuff while he's suspended. So
what was Starling Marte our last one that we think of that?
What, a juice guy?
Yeah, Starling Marte
that missed a bunch
games?
of time juice. I know there were others, but yeah, off the top of my head, I can't really think of it. Especially it's like substantial to a fantasy lineup.
Yeah.
Noelvi, I think, was supposed to be a pretty significant point of a really good Reds lineup. So it'll be certainly a boost when he gets him back.
I have him in a lot of leagues, and
to put up 450. To put up 450 without any of those guys, without your two really good pitchers going, without 3 starters in your lineup, like bona fide starters, is pretty impressive. Got to hand it to the Marlins to put up that kind of number with those kind of guys missing. Hat tip to Chris, and Marlins, I think, are going to be a team to be reckoned with probably sooner than later.
Now, flip on that. The Padres, 9 pitchers on the IL.
9 pitchers on the IL, but a lot of that is by design.
That's what I thought. Like, I just wanted to look at it.
If we were to look at the Padres, a lot of those are like guys that he grabbed
intentionally. Yeah,
hurt. But it's just it's
look at that. Like
number Yeah, it was just such a big number. I had to make note of it. But yeah, pretty much all of these guys were already hurt when he
How many of those are
acquired them.
TJS guys? Do you know off the top of your head?
Actually, not all that many. Boz was, but Trinan wasn't. I don't think Sewell was. Maybe Carlos Hernandez was. No, shoulder. Bard wasn't. Urquidy's not. McCullers has been a million
hold
different
on.
things
Like,
the last couple
look at
of years.
that though. I want to point. Oh shit, you were over. It looked like he didn't have a red cross. I'm sorry.
Oh, he
It was
does.
where your
No,
mouse was. Like your mouse
he
was
does.
like perfectly positioned.
It's a lot of money worth of pitchers sitting there, but
Yeah.
but again, this isn't something that really happened over the course of the week for him.
No.
It was just a note that I
I would bet it was intentional.
Yeah, and he's got discounts on some of these guys, but no real Nick Lodolo discount. But he's going to be starting, I think, next week or maybe even the week after. And his is not an arm; it was a leg. So whatever. The others, so we had Nate Lowe go down for the A's. We had Matt McClain probably for the year go down for the Rockies. Royce Lewis out for probably 6 weeks plus for the Rays. The Astros lose Josh Young on the hit by pitch, and then today the Lou Bob news looks really terrible. They're talking about 2 to 3 months for him. So the Astros, we just talked about really riding their pitching. The hitting was pretty good too at 286. They were third in hitting points, but they are going to lose a couple of significant bats, both for extended time, which is very tough. Tyler, I didn't spell Tyler right. Tyler Megill for the Reds goes down. Nick Senzel broke his thumb fielding a ground ball before the game, down for the Expos. Jamison Taillon and Justin Steele, both for the Mets. A couple of arms down for one team there. We're going to run into that again shortly. Jonathan Aranda down for the Rangers. Brian Wu down for the Twins. Garrett Cole and Lucas Giolito and Sean Murphy all hurt for the Yankees for obvious extended amounts of time, especially for Cole and Giolito. The D-backs, Brendan Luce, Shane Bieber. I just lost him in the ABL. You just lost Jake Junis. Not sure how long for, but an arm's an arm.
Shoulder.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not that he was, a 20-point per game guy or anything, but
he was, pitching's pitching.
He was a guy you were going to, rely on for starts. So, yeah, these are all notable injuries, all like I said, probably I didn't get all of them. I know there are probably others that
there's so many of them.
As for the little news and notes, did some NL, did some AL. The Brewers, we kind of already talked about riding the hot hitting. They were the number 2 hitting team of the week. The Braves number 1, but a little bit lackluster in the pitching. The Brewers got the combination of great hitting and really good pitching. And, we see what that leads to, being the second highest scoring team of the week underneath the Astros. Dodgers, we talked about my pitching already. Pitching went very good. Crochet plus some crappier relievers, Ryder Ryan and Brian Hoeing, guys that I picked up for $1 and Fab, ended up contributing some nice points. Josh Hader, 4 innings, no saves. So kind of ouch for Pittsburgh. Not what you acquired Josh Hader for, not due to performance or anything. It's not like he was bad, but just was not in the position to get saves. Obviously, it's going to turn around, but notable. Padres with the 9 on the IL. We hit. Does Nolan Jones suck, Tony? So this is an Expos-related thing. Does Nolan Jones suck? Did everybody overdraft Nolan Jones after the great numbers he put up last year? Of course, I don't think that that's true. Personally, guys are going to have slow starts. But Nolan Jones in particular, when I wrote that note, he was under 1 point per game. He was at 0.83. I don't know what he's at now, but no, I don't. To answer the question I asked you myself, no, I don't think he sucks.
No, I don't either. Like the guy's playing in Coors Field for half his games, and he's getting a lot of at bats.
He's going to play I think he's going to be fine. It's just kind of a notable.
We talk about this in 2 months, and we're probably
it'll look silly. Also with the Expos, so he had the Nolan Jones suck, and then the Expos also had the Estrella Ruiz gate, where he was sent down. The heavy rumors were that it was because he was wearing a bracelet that supported people or who protesting the A's moving, and you can't do that, and that's not how we do things here in this organization. And so he got booted. One of the coaches said that the plan was always for him to start in AAA, but some injuries and stuff necessitated him starting the year up. Blah, blah, blah. Either way, it was another kind of crappy blow to the Expos, who was dealing with the Nolan Jones suckiness. We saw had the Nick Senzel injury, and then the Estuary send down. So a little bit of a rough week for the TFE Expos. We had Bailey, Ober. I guess I put oh shit. I don't remember doing that.
Did Ober get 2 or 3 starts this period? Because I own Ober in another league, and Ober got rained out today.
Well, I think today was supposed to be his second start, and then the only other one was a big fat minus. Yeah, so that's an ouch for the Phils, who, if we look back, the Phils pitching was none too impressive. It wasn't just so Phils third from the bottom at 109 pitching points. Now, obviously, Bailey could have turned a plus 10, and the Phils would still be where they are. But obviously, a big fat negative doesn't hurt. Just thought it was kind of silly and notable. San Francisco gets there was one that I missed. Spencer Strider. Oh no, it's here. And I missed Yuri Perez of the Angels. Missed actually talking about it. But yeah, San Francisco gets kind of the disappointing combo of Strider and Wheeler, which, of course, if you're a team that has that combination, you're really leaning on them to kind of take you to the promised land. And Strider was not himself, and now we see perhaps why. Elbow MRI, don't know how much time he's going to miss. Wheeler was not great.
It doesn't sound good from what I've seen. Like it sounds.
No, it doesn't. He's already on the 15, and you can pretty much bet that he's not just going to miss the minimum of 15. So yeah, significant blow to San Francisco. And before the injury, like the first 2 starts, they had combined for I think about 31 points, Wheeler and Strider, which 31 points, hey,
like 60 to 90.
Yeah, you're hoping for probably double that if you're really running well out of Wheeler and Strider. Alec Marsh, that's what you're kind of hoping for to get out of Strider and Wheeler, is the 26.5 points that the Cardinals got out of Alec Marsh's first start. Now, he went again today. I don't know how good or bad he was, but that first start, 26.5 points. So nice little score potentially for the Cardinals, who, we know the story of the TFE Cardinals, took a team over in the middle of the whole thing. Hasn't really gotten to make it his own yet.
He's worked at it.
But he is, yeah. He wasn't, wasn't the laughing stock that maybe we thought he was going to be. Where did the Cardinals end up? They ended up third from the bottom. So yeah, not even and just a few points away from the guy that did have the Strider Wheeler combo, and who some people, Amrock, thought the Giants were going to be a very form. And it's not to say that they're not, but in week 1, they weren't. Obviously, this is all just week 1 shit. And the Braves, I put the Braves, who we just saw, was rough in the pitching points, had really good hitting points, but they are going to gain Snell, which is, of course, going to be a boost, to anybody. So if he can keep up that hitting performance and then add a nice 2-start week from Blake Snell to that 177 pitching points. Now, again, this was an 11-game week, so extrapolate that down or whatever. But so there's your NL news. Tony, did you have anything that I didn't put for the NL that you?
Nope, we're good there.
All right, so let's look at the AL real quick. Not as much, but start with the Astros. We talked about the Astros pitching and how good it was. It was actually, I think, second best to my own. Fewer than 10 points worse, but yeah, really, really good pitching from the Astros and really, really good hitting from the Astros as well. Just kind of dominated the week. The Astros and the Brewers really just kind of dominated the week. Very good performances on both sides of the ball, however you want to say that. Nice little surprises from the A's specifically. Lourdes, Connor Joe, and Shota Imanaga, all very good in this first scoring week. Imanaga was looking really good today against the Dodgers before that rain started. We know how great he looked in his first start, 6 innings, 9 Ks. Lourdes seemed like he was hitting a home run every day there for a little bit, averaging well over 6 points per game when I wrote that down. And Connor Joe, I think, was at 5.5. Hasn't played every day, but a nice little score there, for the A's, almost playing like real life money ball with these discounted. Maybe Shota's not discounted. He might be more expensive than I realized, but thought it was a nice little trio of week 1 performers for the A's. Do Jordan Walker for the Texas and Pete Alonso for the White Sox, do they suck, Tony?
Jordan Walker, yes, because he wears Cardinals colors. Pete Alonso, I'm a fan of. I think the power is going to come. Like when the weather warms up, I really think that's going to come.
Interesting to note, Alonso sucked for the White Sox. The Mets were rained out a couple of times and then played in shitty weather when they did play and just haven't really clicked. The White Sox still led the league with 18 home runs, and that's with Pete Alonso being really lousy. So yeah, kind of interesting note there. I didn't write that there because I didn't see it until I was looking at that stuff just before we started. But yeah, the White Sox lead the league, 18 home runs, and that's with Pete Alonso being a suck. I don't know if I think Jordan Walker sucks. When I wrote that, he was at 1.6 points per game. I doubt he's gotten a whole lot better. But as somebody noted on the Discord, hey, Sam, he's only $34. So if you want to go ahead and let him suck this year and give him 36 next year, I think we'd be fine with that. Again, with the White Sox, they're going to gain Mike Clevenger, both the real life White Sox and the TFE White Sox. So nice to gain a starting pitcher anytime you can do that. Ronel Blanco, no hitter on Detroit's bench. John, I touted John earlier before the season started. I touted his prowess, and I can't blame him for sitting Ronel Blanco. He was managing his starts, and this was the guy he sat, but doesn't help me on the will the Tigers be better than the Pirates pizza bet that I have? I could use John getting those no-hitter points. But yeah, our first no-hitter of the year was on the bench. Did not affect any matchups at all. The Angels pitching. Why did I put Angels pitching? Ew. I remember it was pretty bad. They lost Yuri Perez. That's probably what it was. Yeah, it was already leaning heavily on Pablo Lopez and Yuri Perez. And yeah, down goes Yuri Perez. So this pitching is now Pablo, Alex Wood, and not a whole lot else. Got some nice points out of David Robertson, 4 holds on the week, but and Daniel Hudson. But man, yeah, that starting pitching looks really, really bad now with Yuri going down. So I got Angels EU and the Yankees. Yes, he lost Lucas Giolito. Yes, he lost Garrett Cole. Yes, he lost his catcher Sean Murphy, but he gains Jordan Montgomery. And just imagine how good that team could be gaining Jormont if he still had Giolito and Cole and Sean Murphy. I think that was another team that Amrock may have predicted to do pretty well. No, I think he did his predictions after the Giolito and Cole injury, so maybe not. But yeah, Yankees gaining Jormont, so we've got 3 teams gaining some somewhat significant pitchers for.
I want to say that all those rankings came after the Yankees gaining Jormont plus the injuries happening. The Yankees, I don't think they're the same level as me with the pitching, but pitching depth matters 100%. It matters. I had, 11 or 12 starters. I traded away a few, but now I have 2 starters on the IL.
Now you want more. Yeah, now you want more.
I want more. You can never have enough pitching. Never.
In a 30-team league, it's just like, real life GMs. I always say you can't have too much pitching. You really cannot in a 30-team fantasy league either. And I without dissecting all of the matchups and looking at the teams, how many teams that didn't get 7 also went up against other teams that didn't get a full 7 and stuff like that. Because just going by the innings pitched numbers, quite a bit of the league did not get their 11 starts this week, or however you won't make their 7 every single week.
This is an odd period, and the reason I say that is because you have so many of the aces going and not the 3, 4, and 5s going. So if you draft,
there's never going to be another period where I get 3 starts out of Garrett Crochet or 3 starts out of anybody for that matter. It's just not going to happen. But
and that's where I want to go.
I did still have to manage my, like today. I had Sale against Arizona. I had Captain Jack against Oakland, and I had Crochet. So I had to sit one of those guys because I was at 9. So I did have to make that decision, but that's like a first world problem. I'm happy to have to make that decision, whereas a lot of these other teams are scrounging for innings and trying to pick up, relievers off the wire, which I did too. I picked up relievers off the wire as well. And you know what? Those points, the Brian Hoeing points, the Ryder Ryan points, the guys I didn't have right before week 1, but I picked up.
Make a difference.
Those got me the win against you. 14 points. I mean, those guys combined for that easy. So those guys can now.
I'll fully admit, like, that does, as you said, make a difference because I did not grind out the SPRP or RP points. Like, I'm waiting until these bullpen rules get solidified.
So just looking real quick at those guys that I picked up. I had picked up 3 relievers. I picked up Angel Zerpa, 15.17 points for the period, 20.67 out of Ryan, and 16.33. So that is a significant gain.
Huge difference. That's the difference in the matchup. Barring Chas McCormick going off.
Yeah. He could have the Sean Green game. It could happen. Anybody can do it at any time. And I don't want to act like, I'm a genius for picking these. I didn't know these guys were, I didn't know Ryder Ryan was going to luck his way into a win and a couple of holds, whatever he's done so far. But they were sparps. All 3 of these guys were sparps.
That's
that I could pop into those SP spots and try to gain some extra points when my other guys I had some bad luck too. Logan Gilbert, second start, 11 points. I guess that's fine. I thought he was worse than that. But Shelby Miller that I traded for $2 he was phenomenal. 31 points in this scoring period I got for $2 Now that is not something that I can lean on reliably.
Is he getting holds
every week? But he got holds and he got a save and he picked up 2 wins. Or no, maybe not a save, but hold and 2 wins. Was huge for Shelby Miller.
One
hold,
save,
2 wins, and has only allowed no hits.
Oh no, holding. Yeah,
walks,
I'm sorry.
6 innings. So he's been really good.
But
it just goes to show that innings are valuable. Starts are valuable. Innings are very valuable. I'm not. I'm not trying to talk myself up here. I got pretty. This is a run good week 1 with the pitching for me, but I'll take it where I can get it. And
then you got to, of course, face off against Brendan.
And I beat him.
Is he done?
I don't know if he's done, but he's got he's 25 points back. I think he's got Altuve. I mean, Altuve could have the Sean Green game.
Am I closer?
Yeah, you're closer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're closer, and you've got McCormick. He's a little bit more behind, and he's got Altuve. So, I mean, really for me, I just take the Astros getting shut down and call it good. Boy, I wish I didn't trade DL Hall for Curtis Meade, but man, I would have been taking a 0, just a big fat 0. Mm-hmm. Instead, I took a big fat. How many points did Curtis Meade score? 8 points. So, okay, 8 is definitely way better than 0.
Yeah.
And I probably wouldn't have used the DL Hall starts anyway. So I guess that trade worked out. But
did he get 1 or 2? DL Hall. I think he only got 1, right?
He made 2. He started yesterday. He did get 2 starts in. Yeah. What else, Tony? What else? Before we wrap up here, any last This was kind of an odd day. I think we'll get into rhythm with this is a funky
for sure.
national
Well,
championship,
and like
Iowa day.
yeah,
for
I was
Tony.
gonna say, like, full
Yeah.
disclosure, like I'm definitely like more locked into the Iowa national championship.
Yeah.
Like that's full disclosure. What do you got going on in the background? You got like a parrot or?
That is the dog's squeaky toy. He's going nuts on it out in the living room.
Fair enough. Hey, what did you have?
Up.
You guys talked about this, and I talked with you about it, and we've bantered back and forth. Like, does this whole like not signing with minor league players matter?
The thing we yacked about earlier in the Discord, the minor league free agents.
Yeah,
Sam gave his clarification, which was pretty much the same as what I assumed it would be. He's not on a minor league team, so he cannot be in the minor leagues. Like that's. I think that's pretty cut and dried. These guys have a tendency to latch on very quickly. These minor league free agents, but that's the whole point of the flex spots, is that they are to facilitate moves like that. Odd little things that come up. A guy getting called up and then getting sent back down, or injury. Two guys come off the IL at the same time. This kind of stuff, though, like where you don't really have a spot to park these guys, so you have these flex spots that are just kind of in the ether, and we've seen plenty of teams use them as big league roster. Essentially making a 29-man roster or whatever it is, and filling these flex spots with relievers or whatever it might be. But you run the risk of a minor leaguer gets called up. Well, now somebody's got to get cut. Somebody in the flex spot, somebody on the roster, that minor leaguer, somebody's got to go, because your roster is now going to be illegal. Now, like I said, it's interesting that doesn't come up more often. I don't know how often guys are released from minor league teams
that are legitimate.
I don't remember it happening.
Those are legitimate prospects.
Yeah, I mean, they can be. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this one in particular is or was, but I don't recall too many instances we're in year 4 of ABL now. I don't recall too many instances of a guy showing up with a blue flag because he had been cut from his minor league team.
It was just a weird thing. That's why I went back and forth with you on that. Was like, well, I don't know.
I get it. I get what, like, he's not, he's obviously not a big leaguer. He's still a prospect as far as like the rules are concerned, but
he doesn't have a team.
He's not on a team. So why can he be parked in the minors if he's not right now? He's not a minor leaguer. He probably latches on tomorrow or the next day, and he can just go right back in there. But he's not on a minor league team. He can't be in the minors. If you want to keep him, put him in a flex spot. And if that has to be at the expense of somebody else, well, that's one of those tough choices that you have to make by having your flex spots full right now.
And
that's the wrong thing to do. I mean, it's fine. It's just that these are the decisions that you might run up against unexpectedly that now you have to make. Like, do I want to keep this minor leaguer that for whatever reason wasn't good enough to stay with his minor league team? Maybe it was locker rooms. Who the hell knows why this guy got cut from his minor league team? But he did, and he can't be in the minors.
In saying that, like, I'm one of those guys who tries to get as close to 28, 29 major league guys as possible. But this is what you run against. Is those spots are meant for flex. Like, no matter what you want to say,
facilitate these kind of moves. If they're already loaded, it makes these moves much harder to facilitate.
Yeah. Like, if you don't realize that those are for the flex spots and whatever, and you don't have one or two open, you're gonna get screwed.
The Royals with 5 outfield assists. Look at that. Ken Serial's 5 outfield assists.
Go to the catching thing.
We got pass balls.
Oh, go to that.
Two,
Who's
two teams
leading?
led the league in pass balls. That was you and the Giants.
I was gonna say I know I was up there on that.
The assists, you mean?
No, the catcher like caught stealing.
Caught stealing against, yeah. Royals, Rangers had
Go down.
5
The
each.
caught is against
Stolen
the.
bases against.
Yeah, What's the? Oh, so there. That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, you don't want to be. So the Padres had 16 for minus
Oof.
8 points. Now I know, man. Who are some of? Let's just see. We'll just pop him open and see. Does he have Ivan Herrera?
I'm not trying to pick on those teams. I'm just saying, like,
Realmuto, Tom Murphy, and Austin Wells. The combination there. Does Realmuto have his 13? Holy Jesus, they're running wild on JT Realmuto.
Yeah, that's what happens.
13
We go
stolen
like
bases against of
offensive
the
catcher
16.
versus, yeah.
Hey, mine, Tyler Stevenson, C1 had 4. We had 7. A couple teams with none. The Cardinals, Expos, the Astros, and the Astros.
Where's the Indians?
Where were you? You were right there with me at 4.
Huh. That's
William
not bad.
Contreras, the Astros catcher. Nobody running on him. Or Ben Rortvedt. Rortvedt. There's no L there.
Hey, Contreras was injured though.
But he got 31 ABs.
Oh, hold on.
Played.
That's the Milwaukee Contreras. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is the Milwaukee. That's not Wilson. This is William, not Wilson.
Yeah, but you understand how I got there. So
yes, I do. Yeah, not 16 steals allowed for the Pods to rack up negative 8 points. That's rough. I mean, Realmuto's offensive numbers probably overcome that, but kind of a neat. Well, neat. I don't know if it's neat. I don't know how much I like it.
How many home runs does it take to overcome that? 2?
So what does a home run end up being? 6 points for a solo home run? You get the homer, the ribby, the run. Yeah, so
2 solo shots.
Homer and a half or so. Yeah, that's kind of rough. Yeah, I like that you could go down and look at all this. Though you got the Red Sox leading the league with 9 HBPs. A lot of HBPs in week 1. We had 2 teams with 0. The Expos and the Rockies don't have guys willing to stand in there and take a shot. The errors, yeah, the Expos with 15 errors. The league worst defense. The Baltimore's with 12. The only 2 teams in double digits. The Braves with 8. Couple with 7. Good defense from me. Good defense from the Giants, the Cubs, and the Cardinals.
Indians.
You only 3 errors there. The Indians, good defense. Good defense from the Tigers. Yeah, we play solid fundamental baseball here. The D-backs, 5 errors, gross.
How much do you lose? Like, I'll close out on this one, and then we'll go. Caught stealing against.
Where is that?
There it is, right there.
So the Royals had 5 caught stealing against for a total of 17.5 points. The Royals and the Rangers each. 4 for the Brewers for 14. This is points gained, I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The Pods. So the Pods had the big minus, but they also had I think that's by virtue of it's kind of like the having a cornerback that gets a lot of interceptions. Well, that just means they're throwing at him a lot because he's not very good. So the fact that the Pods are up here in caught stealing against and then also stolen bases against way down at the bottom, which means a lot of guys are running on Padre catchers. The D-backs up here getting 7 points. I only had the 1. A lot of us only had 1, and a lot of us still had 0. So, yeah, an interesting wrinkle, catching, scoring. I know, me joking about reviewing it next year was what exploded, Amrock basically caused Amrock to leave the Discord, which of course I think is ridiculous.
Yeah, whatever.
If he hasn't realized that 90+% of the shit I say on the Discord, especially when just the day before people were whining about the scoring, obviously I'm not whatever. So yeah, that's week 1. Congratulations to those of us that did well, and better luck next time in week 2 for those that didn't. We've got a lot more of this to do. Many more weeks of this to go.
Something I'll say is for some of these teams that may not think they're doing as well or whatever you want to say, this 7 or 11 starts per week throws a lot off. You take off those few starts a week and you've got to make decisions, that's going to make a big difference.
Even the teams with that pitching depth that we talked about in a normal week, and what compared to this would be a condensed week, are going to have more decisions made on their starts. You're going to see things like the Ronel Blanco no-hitter on the bench, not necessarily a no-hitter, but the decision I made today could have cost me. I started Jack Flaherty. He scored 5.5 points instead of Chris Sale, who I think scored around 12 or 13, something like that. So maybe that 7 points difference decides a matchup for me. We absolutely have seen – we're going to see multiple matchups, I think, every week decided by a handful of points or less. And you're going to have owners that can look back and say, man, if I just would have started my backup catcher that day he homered, instead of, or, I made the wrong pitching choice, or I didn't get that reliever in there before the game started. I could have, like this stuff happens in a daily league, especially. These decisions become huge over the course of the year. In week one, they don't matter as much. It's just week one, but we play 8 matchups a week. Congrats to you for going 7-1. Congrats to me for going 7-1. I don't like to gloat too much, but I'm pretty happy about that, especially considering my ABL. I just lost Beebs in my ABL team. It was fun being competitive for a week, but yeah, that was my big free agent acquisition of the year, $28 Bieber, $26 Bieber. I had already lost Danny Jansen. So yeah, that hurts. I feel Brendan's pain. I don't think he's going to have as hard a time with it in TFE as I will in ABL. But Aaron Ashby's back. Hey, there's something. Aaron Ashby is back. Jake Junis injured.
Hey,
Aaron Ashby back with the Brewers.
Who owns Jake Junis?
You do.
So thanks for rubbing it in. Go ahead.
I'm just saying.
I know.
I don't know who owns Aaron Ashby in this league, but
I do know because ABL. I've been trying to get Aaron Ashby as – and it's the Chicago Cubs. Have games started.
That's a team that could use a pitcher too. Now I don't know if Ashby's going to jump right in as a starter. Maybe he becomes a follower and throws 4 or 5 innings. He's the because Miley's going to come back too. So does Miley come back and down goes Ashby? He's going to have to impress in the short time that he gets, and I hope he does. I'm an Ashby fan.
Yeah.
And again, ABL.
To show how full disclosure both of us are, like I've talked to Joshua, the Cubs owner who owns Ashby, about getting him as an insurance policy. Junis could be 1 start. Junis could be 3 months. Shoulders are tricky. This is not the first time with Junis because he's had a little bit of a bug going on before too.
Well, I think that's why he was a reliever also instead of a starter because that arm and that shoulder was not handling, and he was he was really, really good as a reliever. So, and in a league like TFE, not to go too far off into the weeds here, but a guy, even if he comes back and becomes a 3 or 4 or 5 inning guy out of the bullpen, that is extremely valuable. Mm-hmm. I'm totally fine if Ben Brown stays a follower or a long reliever. I would rather he come in the second and throw 4 innings than get a start and only throw 2 or 3. I'm as long as he doesn't get his ass kicked like he did in his first, but in his second he was fine. He ended up with positive points on the week. So points are points.
I will close out on that, and I'll say we'll close out is those guys who are the Ryan Yarbrough. Like everyone remembers him.
Relievers.
He's gold. Those Bolt guys who follow the opener, those guys are gold. Sorry, they are.
I think Wagosapak is maybe supposed to be that guy in Tampa. He was pretty bad in his first one, but I think he may supposed, and he's on a team already. I'm not giving anything away, but yeah, those guys can be weird little bullpen aces in a league like this where innings are so valuable, where strikeouts are so valuable. Anyway, so yeah, there's your week 1 rundown. Congrats to the victors. Condolences for the losers, and we'll all be back at it again next week.
If you're in the middle, make a move. No.
Yeah, make a move. It's week 1. You don't want to be stuck wallowing in mediocrity.
And
All right, man. Thank you.
I don't want
Thank
to.
you,
I don't
Tony.
want to speak for you, but we want to try to keep this at 45 minutes every week.
Yeah, I think this is a good. We've went a little over here, but that's through mostly my own fault.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
and
I
mine
think
too.
this is good.
And I got my lights, my daughters. And
We're fine. It's all fine. But this is about what you can. Yeah, this is this week in the TFE. And this was week one. I look forward to not Bronner, Brewer Steve. Was going to do some. I don't remember what he could. Not some awards or superlatives or whatever you want to call it. I still look forward to that. I don't want to step on his toes too much for that, so I didn't do a lot of super individual performances. So yeah, look forward to that and enjoy the rest of your night and weekend. And I'll talk to you soon, and we'll see everybody soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Peace.